Gentlemen, it's Brendan O'Connell. The date is the 23rd of November. It's 2:33 p.m. How many videos in one day? Ian Carroll is going to tell us about Claudia Sheinbaum, Mexico's president. I've been in Mexico now 5.5 years, mainly in the state of Querétaro. Also took a nice bus ride through Sinaloa and was up there around Tijuana and Ensenada near the border. Caught up with Roger. Then went down to the Yucatan Peninsula to Merida. Then I was going to jump on a plane in Cancun and go to Europe. In the end, through a long story, I ended up back in Querétaro, which I think is probably overall the best state in Mexico. 6,000 feet elevation. It's summer and I mean it's winter and the bright sun. Most of the rain comes in March, April, May, June in this part of the world. It's bright sunshine and it's cool and moderate and mild and it's very safe. The city of Querétaro in the state of Querétaro, 3.5, 4 hours north of Mexico City, surrounded by these little pueblo magico, little villages with the church in the center. They play the bells and cafes and cobblestones. Sides of Mexico I never knew about. I mean, Mexico was Mars to me. Bali's nothing to me. For you, very exotic. Bali and Indonesia, there's nothing to an Australian. You jump on a plane from Perth, Western Australia, you're in Bali in 3 hours. It's like going away for a weekend, but Mexico is very exotic and all we ever hear about is sicarios and assassinations and guns and drugs. We don't see that other side, and particularly if you're Catholic, you will love. But there's things about Mexico after 5.5 years I know a lot about. I met some major Shienbaum supporters and organizers where I was staying. In fact, I went out with her. She was also a white witch. Witchcraft is all through. Let's let Ian speak and then I'll talk.
Do you guys know what's going on in Mexico?
I know exactly what's going on in Mexico.
Mexico is in open rebellion against their president.
Open rebellion. That's garbage. Sheer garbage. There's no open rebellion.
There's so much.
That crowd, she can pull 200,000-300,000 people like that into that square. All right. A lot of this is organized from outside, and I'll explain to you why. Sheinbaum is World Economic Forum pure. She is besties with Macron, Emmanuel Macron, which is Rothschild's bestie. They adore each other. France has had a heavy presence in Mexico for a long time. A long time. France is very popular with Mexicans. They're all learning French. All the women are into witchcraft, and Shienbaum is literally their goddess. This is very similar to the Hillary Clinton phenomena. I met organizers. Paco was a former Monsanto executive, and he was a main organizer for Shienbaum. He's got his hotel. I went out with a lady there, and I did love her, and she loved me, but we were very different. We made better friends and lovers, and she was heavily into witchcraft, white witchcraft, which is all through Mexico. It's demonic here. Catholic Church might be here, but let me tell you, there's a shit ton. I mean, on Facebook pages, I used to laugh at it. You know, English friends married to a Mexican lady here, and she'll say, it'll have warnings in the Facebook community pages for locals. Please, if you've got a pure white cat or a pure black cat, please keep it in your house. It's the witchcraft day of the satanic whatever, and they'll start kidnapping and killing your cats. And it's like, you know, these are normal things to watch out for here. Oh, pure demonology here. Council on Foreign Relations inhabit San Miguel de Allende, which is a really beautiful town. You should go and see it. Bill Clinton was around there about 1.5 years ago. Do you remember? Because that's where all the CIA and Council on Foreign Relations people retire. Full of witchcraft, full of demonology, full of Illuminati symbolism. I went there in a hotel, had the Illuminati signals everywhere. There's satanic art, Star of David's on the damn table. Well, let me get it up. I have to get it up. All right, here's good old Bill Clinton when he visited about 18 months ago. What was he doing down there, I wonder? Right, so I get into the Airbnb there. San Miguel de Allende is very famous, actually. It was started by an artist community, a retired CIA case officer whose name eludes me. So we had this on the air conditioning control. We had this Star of David on the bench, and we had this satanic artwork by a well-known German Jewish guy on the stuff. I took that with my little Mini 4 Pro, a little bit over sharp. But yeah, it's a beautiful town. I love some of these Mexican towns. It's not that far away. You get a really easy bus ride out of Querétaro. And there's Bill. There I am flying the Mini 4. Anywho, that's San Miguel.
And it's not all because she's Jewish. But
it is nothing to do with her being Jewish. This guy knows nothing. Nothing. All right, you've got to live in a place. It's like me going to Iran and making myself an expert on Iran. Compared to you, I'm an expert on Iran. It helps you if you've been there. It's nothing to do with her Jewishness. I have to tell you that it may be a majority Catholic country, apart from all the demonology and witchcraft, but I'm telling you right now, no one gives a shit about her Jewishness. Nobody. She got in on a landslide, like 64, 68%. Landslide. She had a platform of anti-corruption, which was absurd. And I confronted Paco, a big organizer for her. And I said, Paco, and English is not, he doesn't speak good English. And so, I tried to soften her. I said, what's the power behind Claudia Sheinbaum? Her vagina? What? What's her power? Who are the guns, the money? Who's behind her? And I know about Obrador, and we'll get to him prior to her. And he goes, the people. Now, I do love that about Mexico. There's a real spirit of rebellion. The communists are heavy. I mean real communists. Not your pretend little rich kid with the Jewish Trotsky glasses communists. I mean real ones who've gone and traded in Cuba, like, oh, the ex-girlfriend. Oh, you were in Cuba when you were 1992. Interesting year that year. What were you doing there? Meeting Ana Montez? What's going on? It's like Professor Joaquin with his dacha. She stalked me, by the way. She absolutely stalked me. And I believe she was told who I was and thought I was some leftist when I'm nothing. I have to stop because it's so bizarre. The whole thing's bizarre. But the French angle, it's like when I was in Iran and there was all these Germans and Swiss. I'm going, what's going on here? And then I got it all. It's all run by German Swiss bankers, which is Rothschild, and French. And the French are all through Mexico. So are the Swedes. Italians too, but that's more just business. But the Chinese are here, the Japanese are here as well, because they build stuff in Mexico to evade the tariffs and that and whatnot, because there's a special North American free trade agreement with Mexico. That's all changing now. Let me tell you about Shienbaum. They're all obviously corrupt. The power behind her is the World Economic Forum. She's a hardcore scientist, nuclear physicist, super smart. You kind of wish it would be nice to have a president like that. She speaks 3 languages. She speaks very good English, obviously Spanish, and I'm pretty sure she speaks French as well. And her and Macron are like this. There he is. Oh, you see him in pictures together. She's slightly embarrassed. I tell you what I like about Shienbaum. Number one, she's super smart, but she's a true believer. She's sincere. She believes in the World Economic Forum. When asked about COVID, she wanted to vaccinate kids. Obrador didn't. The former President Obrador was unsure of her. She's a hardcore communist, and I mean hardcore Bolshevik. They are like Bulgarian Jews out of Bulgaria and Lithuania or something, her parents. But Emmanuel Macron, of course, was with a child of Rothschild, Evylen De'Rothschild. And you'll see the French everywhere. There's David de Rothschild everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Oh, how I love Samsung, the best operating system ever. Anyway, that's Claudia. Now, you've got to be in Mexico to see all these sort of 40-plus-year-olds divorced women now with rich husbands, and they're all doing witchcraft, they're all learning French, they're all doing artworks, they all love Frida, the famous communist who was hanging out with Rockefeller. You have to be here. When I moved into the room with the girlfriend, she had 2 Airbnb rooms out the front, and then she had her house out the back, a very nice house. She's an artist. She trained to be a journalist and an architect. Her daughter's very talented, going places. Anyway, I did love that family, and I do miss them. I do, but I've got a lot of criticisms, which is political, because I'm a political person. One of the things I said was, don't lie to me and don't deceive, and they're being very deceptive. Because I said, well, tell me about Shienbaum. I'll give her a positive spiel, because she had said, I believe in science. She wanted to vaccinate kids and said, no, she didn't. She screamed and said, I read the articles. If they're wrong, okay, come and tell me, because I'm getting translations. Come and tell me, your English is good. Let's start doing it. And if she's doing good things, I'll report it. They wouldn't talk to me about it. They would avoid political discussions, and I could smell the deception. These are hardcore commies, hardcores. All right, Shienbaum is backed by the banking, financial, and the cartels, but they all are. What, do you think America's any different? America's fucking identical. It's just more hidden. It is literally the identical system. But she's World Economic Forum. Those crowds you see are nothing compared to what she can pull. There's no open rebellion here. Get a grip. What bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. You know nothing. Let me keep going.
It's not because she's Jewish.
There's
and
nothing
sold
to
out
do
their
with
country.
her Jewishness, real or imaginary.
And there's a lot of
Nothing.
backstory that we're not going to get all into, but if you know a little bit about the history of Mexican politics, you would know about AMLO, their past president.
Obrador. Let me tell you the story about Obrador. He came out post-2008. He was being handled by the exact same company, Cambridge Analytica, data analytics. The story is, the myth, and now you've got to understand, AMLO or Obrador was very charismatic. I didn't know who he was. I started watching and I was laughing my ass off. He's hilarious. My girlfriend's daughter has met him twice. Okay, they know him, not close personal, because they're all in the party, you see. They're organisers, high levels. She was trained in Cuba in 1992 when she was 19 years old. And what happened was, the myth is that Obrador, the power of his own charisma, saw the injustices post-2008 and had to fight back. No, he's a product of Cambridge Analytica, and he is the release valve to control the population. He was an old thug, very likable, but an old commie thug in the old days that had run around burning down people's shops in the old days when he was young. So he's moved up through the ranks, cartel ranks. They all do. Fuck's sake, the Kennedys were bootlegging organised crime. Now he's the great myth of the Kennedys, for crying out loud. Was JFK a nice guy who wanted to change things? Yes, with a lot of faults too, but that's the complicated story. It's never simple. So Obrador comes up in the power of his own charisma. He's loved and hated. But one thing, the difference between Obrador and that crazy Shienbaum is that Obrador knew, you want to look after the poor, you got to have a good economy. So he did do some good things, increased pensions and stuff. You know, those things had to be done. But he never really messed with the economy too much. Don't worry, there's lots of detractors with him. Don't worry about that. And I'm in Querétaro. This is a very conservative Catholic area, Querétaro, very conservative. It's run by the military. And it's very peaceful here because there's a lot of industry, a lot of high-tech stuff going on here, big Microsoft data centers. It's a huge hub. I mean, you've probably never heard of it. I never heard of it till I got here. And so Obrador is another product. Him and Trump got on because they were both recruited at the same time. That's why. By the same people. Now, it was reported he was unsure of Shienbaum, says she's too radical. A competent administrator without question, smart. I like the way she dresses. She wears nice frocks, not like these power suits, you know, with carefully coiffed. She just looks nice. I want to like her. I really want to like her. But she's just a radical Bolshevik because she's in deep with the World Economic Forum. In deep, that's openly talked. They were just here a few months ago. The Women's Economic Forum, all part of the World Economic Forum. And they've got this big thing on indigenous rights, women's rights, witchcraft, heavy, and they're all over 40, they're all divorced, they all hate men, and they all fucking worship Claudia Sheinbaum. Sheinbaum's crew also started messing with the judiciary. Instead of it being admitted by a chief judge, they wanted every single judge voted in. The turnout rate is like 15% of the eligible. So the manipulation of the judges is very easy. That was a big deal. And a lot of US industry said, we are not going to invest if you fuck around with the judiciary and start changing things. If you don't give us any surety, any rule sets, legislation, and guarantees with our investment, and you start changing things on us, we'll pull out. And that's already happening. That's part of what Colombia and Venezuela are. Remember I said, the Gulf of America, they're going to be shipping like the Straits of Malacca. They're going to be shipping directly across from Colombia and Venezuela. So the US is decentralizing its manufacturing base into Colombia and Venezuela, and they will boom. God willing, these very turbulent times will turn into reasonably good times for people. And I think it's about time. If America would also just apologize for the last 70 years in Central and South America, that would be nice. And then by apologizing America and admitting the mistakes of the past and having healing sessions and apolitical groups come together. And that's what I thought I'd do. I thought, hey, we got Mary Silva. Why don't we get an apolitical group? We'll do healthcare stuff. We'll do tourism. That'd be awesome. Not like they would just spit and look at the ground. Man, these people are radicals, man. I think fuck them away from them, to be honest. I mean, I do miss them sometimes outside the politics, but should have always just stayed friends. I made a big mistake going out with that woman, but I really enjoyed her company. We love cafes and restaurants, and I really like those people. You know, she's got friends who just make cakes. She lived in Lebanon. She speaks perfect, obviously Spanish is her native language. She speaks perfect Arabic and perfect English. How interesting, just bakes cakes. Husband was Lebanese. I didn't realize the strong links between the Lebanese and Mexicans. The Lebanese are huge Lebanese population here, huge in Mexico, particularly in Mexico City. So use your imagination. Look, I'm not going to do any more. You can go watch it yourself. I guess we could keep going. This anti-Jewish part is bullshit. That's been a part of the political stuff, but really not much. There's no huge radical uprising. It's complete bullshit. The crowds, though, I'm seeing different views. Some of the ones I saw, the crowd wasn't that big. But she can pack 300,000 people into that square like that. She got in on a fucking landslide. 64, 68%. Huge.
This new like political party and movement.
Not new. It's been around.
This is outside of their Capitol building. Their what's it called? It's got a weird name. It's like their palace, their royal palace or some shit, which sounds weird to have in Mexico.
What? Dude, just shut up. It's a Spanish Empire, dickhead. It's a Spanish Empire. There is still a king of Spain. I think Claudia will be on a plane too. But Claudia will probably be going for other reasons. It'll be nothing to do with the crowds. It'll be manipulations of, look, investment rules. Look, I'm going to stop, but I'm going to tell you what's going on. The US booted Russia out of the Middle East, rightly so. And I hope the US will make amends in that region. Start by saying sorry, America. Great power comes great responsibility. Say sorry. Spread the revolution. Okay, free the slaves, if that's possible, if it's possible. But America's all we've got, so we can just cross our fingers. But, it's like 50% good things, 50% like just what the hell are you doing? And they want the French and the Swedish and the Europeans out of Central and South America, the Chinese. But it's not really the Chinese and the Russians, it's the French. The French, not the French people, French elites. It's all Rothschild. Get them out. They've been in there stirring the fucking pot for the last 70 fucking years, post-World War II. Get them all out, every last one of them.
But AMLO started this new policy against the cartels called Hugs Not Bullets. And his idea was, when we try to crack down on the cartels, so many people get hurt and there's all this violence. It's really uncomfortable. So maybe what we should do is just hugs, not bullets. And let's just not focus on the cartels. Let's just ignore the cartels. And
not true. What he said was, America, why don't you cure the demand and what do you want us to do about it? And Mexico doesn't run the cartels. The cartels are run out of the United States. So why don't we just start there? Fucking Ian Carroll. This hardcore leftist found Jesus. He's from Seattle, Mary. His family are well known in Seattle. All right? Now he's found Jesus. He's hanging with good old Candace Owens. Isn't that interesting? Good old Candace Owens. All part of the tag team. That's enough. I actually get angry because it's just such waffling shit. He knows absolutely fucking nothing. And I mean zero about this. There is no massive uprising. But let me tell you, the anti-American fervor here is fucking strong. Really strong. So watch out. The word is that the 200 miles of border is happening. The Baja Peninsula gone. When exactly they'll move, but they're going to move. You know why? Not because they need to. It's for the news cycle. An invasion of Mexico, no, it's just for the news cycle. They could get things changed very easily. They want to take 200 miles of border, be a free trade zone. That's the plan. So that's why I don't want to be here. So I'm just trying to save as much money as I can to get the fuck out. And God willing, Zelensky will be asked and Zelensky will be back in Ukraine. And that little coke-snorting, cross-dressing piece of shit will be put wherever he belongs. He'll be chased out of the country. He's so unpopular. Anyways, what else can I have to say? Mexico is a piñata that Americans can look at and go, look at Mexico. Listen, American friends, your fucking politicians, your military and your banking and financial class, Wall Street drug money launderers, you run the fucking cartels. You decide what goes where from that network Kay Griggs talked about. Weapons trade, good old Kissinger, the weapons trade, secondary weapons sales, drug trade, drug money laundering, funny money all around. And then you tell the Mexicans to clean up the cartel? How are they going to clean up your fucking creation? America, you're the problem. You are the most powerful nation on earth with a few problems in terms of backdoors and blackmail and a nuke that sits under your critical infrastructure. But in the end, all this could be fixed. With great power comes great responsibility. Let's start with the fucking truth and an apology and have apolitical movements to improve Mexican-American relations. And then you will defuse this whole... The communists here are huge. This is not some little movement of half-wits with little rich Jewish kids with their little Trotsky classes. These are hardcore fucking commies, man. Hardcore. 30% of the fucking population, and they fucking despise the United States. I've seen it. My girlfriend would run around saying he's Australian, not American. He's Australian, not American. And I'd say, I don't like this term gringo. It sounds like goy. And she goes, no, it meant green go because of the invasion. They're still not over the fucking invasion. That La Raza, they don't even realize, that's the Department of Defense. The La Raza is run by the Americans. They've got all your names, you dumbasses. I told them, you clowns, you're on your S24 Ultra phone. You're all posting on Facebook like a bunch of clowns. You're going to what? Bring America down? What fucking fantasy world these people live in? The opportunities that were had to get together, Americans and Mexicans, apolitically, and say, hey, we're going to live together. Let's work together in a North American Union with a border. So Mexico is Mexico and America is America. But just absorb Canada. Number one, America must absorb Canada. Just wipe it out. No Canada. Fuck off. If you don't like it, go to fucking Europe. All right? Canadians, don't like it, fuck off to Europe. You're an abomination. You've been working with the crown from day dot, subverting the United States, subverting the greatest big dick, divinely inspired constitution that ever was created, and you've been doing nothing but sit there sucking on monarch dick, sucking on the Federal Reserve Bank governors of fucking London. Fuck you, Canada. And plenty of Canadians I know say, we fucking hope so, Brendan. Please come and invade. It doesn't have to be bad. People just need to get together and create a reasonable system. The Koch brothers can pay tax, the billionaires can pay some tax, stop wasting fucking money and start building communities again. That's a long project. It's going to take 100 years, but the next 20 years are critical. We need conversations. That's why they're creating polarization. So we never sit and talk about what? Bankers. Mexicans hate Americans. Americans hate Mexicans. How perfect. How perfect. And they're the banking and elite financial class. The borderless loan sharks, the pieces of shit who've never worked a day in their fucking lives, who refuse, what, pay tax? Are you insane? Are you insane? Trillions of dollars, trillions of imaginary zeros and ones are stored in the Cayman Islands and all these accounts. The NSA knows where it all is. Just confiscate the fucking lot. Enforced by the rule sets, enforced by the $1 trillion US military. Why doesn't that happen? Maybe because they're not gone yet. There's no focus on the Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, Atlantic Council, Rockefeller Foundation. They get a little mention here and there. Let's focus on that. Let's focus on that. We're focusing on the Jews. I want to hear about those institutions like the Council on Foreign Relations and the history thereof and the foundation funding of all these astroturf, pretend grassroots movements, the complete subversion, the illegals, generation after generation after generation coming into the United States, changing names, slipping into the high-tech sector, all that stuff. We're not talking about it. Talking about this shit that this idiot's just put up there. Clueless fucking idiot. Talking to Mary right now.